Hi, I'm Ray and I have another podcast episode for you. This time, Thoughts of a Recluse. Now, a lot of people call me a recluse and I'm not at all. Well, maybe I am. A friend of mine, I've known him since my teens. He is a recluse. Back in our teens, we'd go out to night clubbing, we'd go to pubs. This was all the people from work, the crowd of us from work. We'd go out for a meal to the Chinese or wherever. He never went anywhere. I spoke to him recently and he said he's never been into a pub and never been into a restaurant and had a meal. He did come to a cafe once with us. We all sneaked out of the workshop. Can you say sneaked or is it snuck? I don't like snuck. What's wrong with sneaked? Anyway, that's another issue. We'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that another time. Now, the thing is, he did come to the cafe and he had breakfast, but he didn't like it. He obviously had to go to work. That's where I met him, in the workshop. But he kept himself to himself. He didn't make friends with people. We ended up friends, I think, because we had quite a lot in common. He didn't like people. Neither did I. I should say, neither do I. You hear some people saying they prefer animals to people. Well, I do, actually. That's not everyone. I'm not talking about family, and I do have friends. But in general, I prefer animals to people. Anyway, that's me. Let's go back to this friend of mine. Let's call him Jack. That's not his real name, but I'll call him Jack because he's still around. And I don't want people recognising who I'm talking about. So Jack didn't like people. He never got married. He lived on his own for a long. He lived with his mother, and then when she passed away, he just lives on his own. Yeah, as I say, never goes to a pub, never got married, no family, no brothers, sisters, nothing like that. A lone child. Maybe that was part of it, as he's the only child. I don't know. We had a chat recently. I met him. He came to see me, actually. Unusual for him to go out. He's retired now. He retired early. He saved up a lot of money so he could retire early, never going out, never doing anything. Obviously, the money he earned, apart from paying the sort of immediate bills, that was it. Didn't spend it on drink, going out for meals, going on holidays. He's never been on holiday. Yes, so he came round the other day and we had a chat in the garden. And he said that he's been quite happy with his life. I did say, have you no regrets? Like, wouldn't you have liked children by now, grandchildren? Oh, no, he says, no, they're noisy. Noisy. I like that. We get on ever so well. We always have done. You might be wondering why I'm talking about a recluse. What's this got to do with anything? I think the point is that there are quite a few people that may not be classed as recluse or reclusive. Is that the word? I don't know. That don't like going out for a meal. If given the opportunity, do you want to go to a restaurant for a meal, or would you rather have a meal at home, perhaps with family or friends? I mean, that's not being a recluse, is it? And I'm like that, to be honest. If someone said to me, would you like to go out for a meal with, say, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, or have a meal at our house? I'd say, well, have a meal at our house. My wife said that. I like people coming round. In the summer, we have barbecues, but I don't like going to other people's houses. I don't know why that should be. It's strange, isn't it? I mean, other people have barbecues and things that we've been to, but they don't have any music. Now that seems a bit odd. Where's the music? Whenever anyone comes here, we've got the radio going, or I'll put music on. And at Christmas, Boxing Day, we have everyone round. There's people dancing and it's great fun. But other people's houses, they don't seem to do it. In fact, you sit there in silence half the time. Well, not in silence. But anyway, I've now come on to me. So what I'm saying is about this recluse business. People call me a recluse because I don't like going out too much. I don't like going out to restaurants because I don't like the food. Well, all the people. You're thinking, what is this chap like now? He needs therapy. Let's go back to Jack. He doesn't have a car because that means, he is a real recluse. If he had a car, it means going out on the road and not interacting so much with other people, but with other vehicles. So there's a chance that, he's got to park somewhere. And if he parks somewhere, well, what for? He doesn't go shopping. There go the seagulls. He doesn't go shopping, he has his shopping delivered. He used to have to go shopping, of course, before it was delivered, and he hated it. He'd just go around the shops, find the quietest time to go around the supermarket, go around other shops, get his stuff and get home quickly, as quickly as possible. Now it's all delivered, of course. He has to open the front door to the delivery man and take the shopping in. But he won't answer the door. He doesn't have a phone anymore. He hasn't got a mobile phone or a computer. He's just cut himself off from the world. Well, apart from, I think there's me and there's one other chap he sees. Never had a girlfriend. How about that? Never had a girlfriend. Now that's strange, you might think. Well, it is strange. You're probably thinking that he is mentally ill. I have said to him, I call him mental just for a laugh. But I don't think he is mentally ill. He's a very intelligent chap. It's just that he doesn't like people. It's not that we talked about this. I said, is it that you prefer your own company? He said, oh, I'm dreadful company. So it's not that he prefers his own company. He just doesn't like the company of others. I'm the same. It's worrying because when people jokingly say to me, this COVID business and staying at home, not going out, wearing a mask, not meeting people, not going into shops or wherever, pubs and restaurants closed. Several people said to me, well, that suits you, Ray. You must be in your element. You can't go anywhere. Well, it's not that I can't. I don't care if the pubs and the shops are open or not. It doesn't make any difference to me. It's, if I don't want to go, I won't go. I don't care if they're open or closed. I just don't want to go. That should be, I don't care whether they're open or closed. You can't say if. That's another one. I'll do a grammar police one at some stage. Have I done a grammar police one? I don't know. We'll do that at some stage. So it doesn't affect me. I think people are jealous. They're jealous because they're all thinking, oh, I want to go to the pub. I want to go out for a meal, and they're all closed. And I'm just sort of sitting at home thinking, well, I don't really give a damn whether they're closed or not. I think people wonder what I'm all about. They certainly wonder what Jack's about, but as I've said, he is a real recluse, fully fledged recluse. But a lot of people, I've met a lot of people over the years that have said, well, to be honest, I'd rather not go somewhere. If you say, in my younger days, we were always out somewhere, clubbing and pubbing and whatever. And I knew one or two people that would say, oh, no, I'll give that a miss. I don't fancy that. And they said it every time. Do you want to come to Brighton with us? We're going over to the top-ranked suite in Brighton. Do you want to come with us? No, I'll give it a miss. They say give it a miss. They've never been. So it's not that they're giving it a miss. They've never been. You can't give something a miss if you've never been there before. But there we are. And that's fine. What happened, of course, in the end, they weren't invited. People would say, oh, don't bother with so-and-so. Don't ask him. He never goes anyway. He doesn't want to. And then you end up being classed as miserable. A misery, oh, he's a misery. Don't bother with him. And that's not the case. Another thing Jack said that reminds me very much of myself. People make up excuses. Do you want to come over to Brighton with us all tonight? Oh, no, I've got someone coming round. Yeah, my auntie's coming down from up north, so I can't. And they're lying. We all know they're lying. No, there is no auntie. And if there is, she's not coming down from up north. You're just lying, telling untruths, falsehoods. So you make up excuses. Now, Jack said, I don't do that. He's never done that. If someone says, do you want to come? No, I don't want to. Oh, why? Well, I don't like it. I don't like Brighton. I don't want to go to Brighton. And I am the same. I won't make excuses unless I really have to. I don't want to offend someone. And I don't want to say to someone, no, I don't want to go around your house for a meal because I don't like you. And you're totally useless at cooking. I just can't bear the thought of being anywhere near you. I won't say that. Well, people like that, I don't know. I cut people off. If I don't like someone, I cut them off. If they've been nasty to me or someone I know, that's it. End of. Finished. Now, that's not me being a recluse, is it? If I don't want to go to someone's house, I just tell them I don't want to go. I'd rather be at home. I think a lot of people, I remember hearing friends over the years, as I said, making up excuses, and it's obvious that they're lying. I think they're far better off just to say, not that I don't like you, or you can't cook. I think they'd just be better off saying, no, to be honest, I don't fancy it. I'd rather stay at home, listen to some music. The trouble is, as I said, you looked upon as a misery, or it will get to the stage where you're looked upon as rude. Oh, he's rude. He's just rude. You invite him out. Oh, no, I don't want to go. And it's not being rude. I don't think people understand. You see these pictures recently of people on the beach, like 500,000 people on the beach, crammed in together. Now that I hate. I mean, Jack obviously hates that. We talked about that. That's why I'm mentioning it. I hate it. I remember when I used to go down to the beach when I was younger. I don't bother now. I used to go to the beach. You find a little spot on your own, put your blanket down and sit there looking at the sea and the girls going by in their bikinis. And then a group of people would come and sit next to me. By next to me, I mean perhaps 4 or 5 feet away. And there's a whole beach. It's perhaps early in the day. The whole beach is empty. Why sit next to me? This is the sort of thing that used to annoy Jack. I think this is what drove him to become a recluse. It's the same wherever I go. I don't know whether I'm sort of a magnet. My wife reckons I'm a magnet to nutters. I go to the supermarket and people come up to me. Oh, hello, you're filling up your basket a lot, aren't you? What? Well, of course I'm filling up my basket. I'm shopping. What are you, some kind of... Anyway, I won't say that. But I do attract people like that. I attract weirdos, according to my wife. I'm not saying the people on the beach were weirdos, but you know what I mean. You go somewhere, you find a seat. Oh, look, I'll sit here. And perhaps a table in a restaurant or whatever. You sit there. And before you know it, someone's right on the very next table. The restaurant's empty. And they'll come and sit right next to you. Just before the lockdown, I was in a supermarket with my wife. And we bought they had some beers on offer. So I bought a few bottles of beer and put them in the trolley. And this chap came up and he said, "Oh, you bought some beer then?" And I said, yes, thinking, well, you can see I've bought beer. It's in the trolley. And he said, "You've got quite a few." And he said, "Oh, you've got 6 bottles there." "Yes, I have, haven't I?" "Are you going to drink all that?" I thought, well, what do you think I'm going to do with it? Oh, for goodness sake. It's people like that force people to become reclusive. I was looking at some T-shirts once. Supermarkets sell clothes now. I was looking at some T-shirts and this chap came up to me and he said, "Oh, that's a nice one." And I was just sort of holding it up and I said, "Yes, yeah." Then he started discussing it. "I bought one like that. Actually, it was similar. It wasn't like that. It was similar to that. I think you'll like that. I think that would suit you, actually. The one I bought, it has slightly different writing on it." And I'm looking at this chap thinking, what's going on? He didn't work there or anything. He just wandered up to me. And my wife was a few feet away and she started sniggering. And this chap, he just started pulling more off the rail. "Oh, try this one. Look at that." He held it up against me. "Oh, that one suits you." I just walked off. My wife's laughing. I just walked off. And this chap was saying, hang on. What about this one? Look, try this one." Actually, Jack did say something. I've just remembered. He went to the cinema once. This was, I don't know, decades ago. And he said that he went in there and he wanted to see a particular film that had just come out. A lady sat next to him. He said an elderly lady. And her perfume was overpowering. He said it absolutely reeked. It's not that she was dirty or anything, but the perfume, again, it wasn't unpleasant. He said he was choking with the smell of this perfume. And then the film was about to start, and she started talking to him. And she said, "Have you seen the film before?" And he said, No. "Oh, I've seen it 6 times. He was telling me this. "I've seen it 6 times. He said, "Oh, right, that's good." He didn't want to, he was a recluse. He didn't want to be in the cinema, but he really wanted to see this film. And he said after 10 minutes, this woman going on and on about the film, he left. He said, "Well, excuse me, I need the toilet." And he left. That was in his early teens, he said, I suppose before he was a fully fledged recluse. But I know what he means. I've been to the cinema. I haven't been for years. I hate it. And I've sat next to people that smell, well, not smell, well, they do, some of them. I remember the last time I went, chap behind me kept coughing all over my back. Well, I assumed it was all over my back. The little droplets of water. I imagine them landing on my hair as he was coughing behind me. I just hate it. And people are making strange noises. And all this, oh dear. And they do, some of them smell. They don't use deodorant. I just can't stand any of it. I had to queue up the other day outside a shop. I wanted something and I must have been desperate for it. Well, I was, because I would never go to a shop or queue up outside. I had my mask on and there were marks on the floor, on the ground. It said 2-metre rule and all that, and everyone's doing it properly, except for this chap behind me. He came right up to me. When I mean right up to me, like a foot away. He was almost touching me. So I moved forward a bit, and he moved forward. He didn't have a mask on, everyone else did. And I said to him, "Oh, you can go first," and I went round and stood behind him. He thought I was a bit odd. He looked at me, and he then went right up to the next chap. And this next chap said to him, "Look, it's the 2-metre rule." "Well, what do you mean? What do you mean 2-metre rule? I don't worry about that. I'm not wearing a mask." Anyway, what the whole queue did, I say the whole queue, there are about 8 people. They're all seeing this going on, and this chap was getting close to people. And they said, "Look, you go first," and they let him go in first. Best way to just get rid of the problem. But what sort of chap does that? I mean, he's obviously, is a retard. He needs help. I think you've only got to meet a few people like that early on in life, and you come to hate people and prefer animals. This is what Jack was saying to me, going back to his school days. That's where he reckons that's where his dislike of people started. That's where it all started happening. Kids in the playground, not bullying him. He wasn't bullied, but he said, looking at some of the kids, you think, they're awful. The things they were saying to other kids. He didn't say what, but I know what he means. I remember the playground. You'd see a bunch of kids and they're all just talking rubbish, showing off to each other. And I used to think, well, I don't want to mix with them. There we are. Have I bored you for long enough? Where are we? Getting on for 20 minutes, aren't we? Oh no, just over 15 minutes. There we are. Recluse. Thoughts of Jack. Bless him. He's had a happy life. He seems all right. Funny though, he said he doesn't like his own company. That's the only company he's got most of the time. Just one last thing before I allow you to switch off and go and do something else. A friend of mine lives on a ground floor flat, and there's a balcony thing, not a balcony, like a veranda. It's on the ground floor, and he'll often go and have a sit out there. The sun's shining. He'll sit out there. It's only a little bit of paved area. And he said that within a few minutes, someone will wander up to him, from one of the other flats. "Hello, how are you doing?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine, thanks." And they start rabbiting. Now, he said he doesn't mind chatting, but they won't go away. They start telling him all about something, all about their trip to the supermarket, or, my son, his children are doing this and they're doing that. And he said he doesn't want to know. He just wanted to go out there, perhaps read a book or a newspaper. And so he holds the newspaper up. If he sees someone coming, holds a newspaper up. So they can think, he's reading, I won't disturb him. Wrong. They think, look, he's reading, I will go and disturb him. And he said he hates it. Very often he won't sit out there, because if people are around, they'll just come and start talking to him. I was going to say something then, rude, but I better not do that. I'm not allowed to swear on podcasts. I'd like to. Good grief, would I like to. But there we are. So, yeah, very often it's a nice morning. He's had his breakfast. He wants to sit outside at his little table on his veranda bit, read the paper, and he can't because people go and annoy him. Okay, that's it. I've annoyed you enough. Thanks for listening. Look out for next Sunday's podcast. What is it? I've written it down somewhere. I can't remember now. Have a look on the website or the podcast site. You'll see what's next. See you next Sunday. Bye-bye for now.